spot here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be 33 drivers who are going to enter in this KA100 Junior LCQ. Like you said, with Caleb, only 14 to go through. It's almost half the field, but we've seen it before in LCQs, right, where carnage can ensue pretty quickly here. We've got Remy Andrados and Luis Sedano on row 1. Bernardo Gentil, Marco Romero rounding out row 2. Then Samuel Martinez, Frederick Manning in row 3. Braden Zerves, Eli Steinbruck, row 4. Stefano Carrega and Dean Peterson rounds out your top 10 for the LCQ here. Then it's Jose Alejandro Halfin, Ryan Mort, João Paulo Bonatoman, Mateus Ramallo, Alexander Young, Max Christie, Levi Sangera, Christopher Wakefield, Arthur Barb, and Ethan Dyer rounding out your top 20 here. And I'm joined now by Xander Clements in the booth.
And that's not the only ones we got in the LCQ. A few more rows still to come here. This one goes all the way back to the 17th row with Sebastian Frigo-Lay. Find your favorite driver and where they're starting. They need to get to the top 14. Row 7 or higher start into the show. This is for spots 31 to 44 here in the main event. So again, all this rolling your way here shortly as the engines have come to life and they will begin to roll off the line. Keep your eye on Ty Fisher rolling from the tail end of the field, as well as Frigo-Lay. Both drivers fast. Problems again for Sammy Martinez, the Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports driver, trying to fire that out for the next little starter. They will. But now what he's got to worry about is, depending on how quick the pole sitter gets around to the commitment cone when they have to be in their spot, that's as high as Sammy's going to get to start. So while they got him out about mid-grid, he needs to get by about 10 or so cars before they hit that commitment cone. I believe that cone is set over in the carousel. So right there, that's the commitment cone. You cannot advance your position after that blue cone. And then there's a secondary cone in the back that is the formation cone that they have to form by. Actually, that's all the way down at the end of the back straightaway. So the formation cone at the end of the back stretch is when they have to get doubled up. The commitment cone right there in the infield. So now Sammy, if he advances any more spots from here on out to the start, he's going to get a penalty. So I don't know.
He's trying to right now. I just watched it.
That's unfortunately, that's a pretty set in stone rule that a lot of drivers aren't used to. So Martinez is going to race his way up to where he's supposed to start, but that could draw a major penalty for Sammy Martinez. Hopefully not. I could be mistaken, but that's typically been the rule book in the past. I'm not sure what the penalty would be. Either way, penalties or not, overall, you need to end up top 14. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Remy Andrados on the inside. The white helmet leads us down to turn 1. 3 wide, 1 spun already down the inside, and we got a lot of 3 and 4 wide there. One driver spun way to the infield, nearly collected the flagman, Alex, as they go to 4.
Yeah, I mean, most of the drivers there were in the blue. Maybe they forgot where the racetrack is supposed to go, but chaos ensued there on the opening lap. A few drivers having to take the escape routes there, but it's a dream start for Remy Andrados, who right now is hoping not to look back. There's an Orsolon driver, a little bit of friendly fire between two teammates there. Then it's Nash Motorsports driver here. This is around the spot that we can expect the transfer line to be, but back out front, Remy Andrados, Luis Sedano. These two guys, they don't need to battle. It doesn't really matter if you finish first or second, as long as you can make it into the main.
I believe that may be Bernardo Gentil, that is the driver that is right behind your race leader, Remy Andrados. So as they work their way out of the final turn right now, again, Remy Andrados continuing to show the way here as the field works its way through turn number 1. Great low shot right there of the field heading on by through the first corner. Down to turn number 4, and Andrados and Bernardo Gentil with a nice gap back to Sammy Martinez in third. He's got to outrun any potential looming penalty that he's staring down on that PK Sports Sodi Racing USA machine as they head out of turn number 5.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you guys an idea of how chaotic that start was right now, the driver in 14th is Bristol Borman, who's made up 13 spots in the opening lap. So that's how much chaos ensued there. There's the look at Bristol Borman right now getting held around the outside there. It's a Nash Motorsports or RPM driver, Nash Motorsports, and Sodi up in the mix there. This is the battle to make it even into the feature race later this afternoon, Xander.
Yeah, this right here, the battle to get into that transfer spot as they head down the back straightaway through the final turn. Christopher Wakefield under fire from a fellow Sodi Racing USA driver as they head down to turn number 1. Still good, no major passes yet, and we'll keep our eyes on some of the drivers working up the field. Number Ty Fisher, mentioned him, started tail end Charlie there on the very last row. He had to do the same thing yesterday to work his way forward here. So did Edward Kennedy. But Kennedy transferred in, I believe, already, so he's safe as we watch the field head down into turn number 5. There's Fisher, a bit further up the boards there on the Race Lab karting machine. But lap 3 at 12 underway. Here's Max Christia. Yesterday, he transferred into the main event, only to get cleaned out in turn 1. He's trying to transfer in once again, and he's on the bubble as Fisher runs just up the road for him at 13th. Christia at the moment, I think, is just barely in from 18th last time by. I think got around a couple of cars to be able to move himself a little bit further up.
Yeah, I don't think right now this is still top 14 because last time around, there's Ty Fisher in 12. Alexander Young on the RPM is the driver on the bubble. Christopher Wakefield on board the Sodi there is the first driver out of this one, up in 15th. Bornman has lost a few spots as it stands. She is out of this one. And Max Christie, he's going to need to make up 3 more spots at least to be safely into this one there. So far, the KR driver is out of this one.
Yeah, so that is the black and orange Sodi of Christopher Wakefield. He'll put one driver between himself and the bubble spot now. Moves into 14th. That new driver on the bubble, Alexander Young, in the RPM Tony Kart, as Christia moves by one more. He'll get to 16th. Outside looking in on the bubble right now is that Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart. Well, for the lead, Bernardo Gentil was right on the bumper. Remy Andratos last time by. He remains right on the tail of him as they cross in front of us. So we stay locked into the bubble spot. Here comes Christia. Big run on that Trinity Karting Group Kart Republic. Look into the inside and contact into the wall goes the Alexander Young. Trying to hang on there for that in turn number 1, fought the pass. They were nose to nose. It was a clean move there by Max Christia. But now also, Alex, that means if he's stuck there by the time we get back around to turn number 1, that will no longer be a passing zone for anyone. The yellow flags will fly as look at more chaos there. Christia got tripped up. He fell behind Wakefield and behind one more. The Nash Motorsports entry of one driver there right behind him is on his bumper. That is the 856 of, I believe, maybe Bristol Borneman, who is up 10 spots as well. Borneman from way back picking up time. Both Christia and Borneman are fast, though. Christia fast time and now one off. One of the Nash Motorsports drivers way wide out of turn 11, trying to get back on. That's the 809. 809 of Dean Peterson goes from in the show, out of the show. Now the new driver on the bubble, Bristol Borneman. 12 spots gained from outside the top 30, or outside the top 25. Started 27th. He's up to 15th now. He's on the bubble spot. Christie at a 14th, and they're fast enough. They're probably going to pull away. So we'll wait and see if there's any other carnage that happens up the road from them. Let's take a look here as we're about halfway into this last chance qualifier, further from our bubble spot if we can, because we've had some changes inside the top 5. Remy Andratos and Bernardo Gentil continue to work together as they lead the way out of turn number 11 and down the back straightaway. Behind them, we've got a new driver into 3rd. Marco Romero on the Team Benek Alonso kart has worked his way to P3, or at least was a lap prior. Back around him went Sammy Martinez, 2 junior rookies making their debut here this weekend. 3rd and 4th right now, very safely into the show. And Remy Andratos, the Northeastern-based driver here, one of the new, his father, a Sodi Racing USA dealer up in the Northeastern U.S. We've seen him on the KC broadcast before with the Northeast Karting Challenge Fall Nationals at New Jersey Motorsports Park last fall. And he leads the way here in the LCQ. There's Martinez and Romero, 3rd and 4th. Behind them, it's kind of pairs of 2. You've got, of course, Cedino and Eli Steinbruck there, 5th and 6th. Couple of Orsolon Racing Tony Karts working together. Braden Zerbs by himself on the BJR MDR entry in 7th. Ty Fisher driven all the way up into the 8th spot. 22 spots gained for young Ty Fisher, the Canadian on the Race Lab karting machine. Way up the order here as we look at this group. There's Ty on that Villeneuve machine there at the end of that pack. Then that's Ryan Mort on the MPG Kart Republic. We go all the way back to the transfer zone. Right in it is Bristol Borneman there in the Nash Motorsports car. Behind him on the Sodi, Mateus Romalo. Remember Mateus, of course, he was fast enough to qualify on his way in, but he could not get that engine fired in the pre-final. He started the race half a lap back. He has now driven his way up to the back end of the transfer. Actually, he's in the transfer zone. Someone else must have fallen out last lap. Yeah, Max Christia.
Yeah, Max Christie last time around, we couldn't get a view on it, but Max Christie is out of this one. So that's drama there for Max Christie. That's 2 days in a row where he's had a rough one. Yesterday making the main, then getting wrecked. Now he's out of this one, so unfortunate now. But Bristol Borneman on the Nash Motorsports, she's the last one to make it in. But Mateus Romalo flying on board the Sodi kart. That's going to be the battle to watch there for the transfer spot. As it stands, there is Bristol Borneman extending her lead a little bit here, but we're going to go side by side a little bit further up. I believe that is Stefano Correga and Frederick Manning going side by side. A little bit of RG Bargy through turns 2 and 3. You don't really want to see this for these guys because they're safely in right now.
Yeah, and now they're bringing the transfer spot closer. In fact, there's the 852 covering the inside, trying to hang on for that spot. Of course, that is none other than Correga, who was 11th a lap ago. Got Bristol Borman right on his bumper, and then behind Bristol, you've got Mateus Romalo as well. All of them are still safely in. There's a big gap back to 16th at the moment of Sebastian Frigolay, who started dead last, 32nd. Or 33rd on the grid for Sebastian Frigolay in the Trinity Karting Group Kart Republic. Just needs one position more. The downside for Frigolay, about 2 seconds up the road is the transfer, and we're coming to the line to 3 laps to go now. There's, you can see Frigolay on the Kart Republic at the top of the screen, back there in 16th as the leader, or this main group heads through 1 and 2 and 3. If they battle some more, there's a chance for Frigolay to get there, but it'd be a long shot to catch up as there's some more contact. This will help Bristol Borman put the bumper to Correga into turn 4. Correga frustrated. Of course, there's pushback number penalties that could come into play. Correga covers off low, and that kind of defending is going to bring more into the mix here.
Yeah, Bristol Borman eager to get around Correga because even though she is in the main as it stands, I mean, she's feeling the pressure a little bit from Romalo, and she wants to get out of this bubble area where she can feel a little bit safer about how she's trying to drive. But right now, Correga seemingly holding up the National Motorsports driver down the back straightaway here to the inside. Bristol Borman, a little bit of argy-bargy there, a little bit of contact as well, and Correga's off. There goes Romalo through to 14th.
Never give up. Sebastian Frigolay still has a chance at this one. 2 laps to go now as the double sticks were given, and Sebastian is right there, driving from dead last on the TKG Kart Republic. Down the run to turn number 4. Here comes Frigolay for the transfer spot. Sebastian Frigolay is in. Sebastian Frigolay to 15th here from dead last on the grid. Does Stefano Correga send it back on the inside in turn 5? Stefano trying it side by side, contact a little bit. They'll stay clean, and now the Orsolon Tony Kart is out. Frigolay, the kid from Mexico, is in, and ahead of them still Bristol Borman trying to work forward, more battling. In fact, there's a broken rear bumper, I think, on the 36 or 56 right up the road from them. That's the Tony Kart. 839, the Orsolon Tony Kart. They're 3 wide. Frigolay on the inside. All kinds of contact there. Here coming out of nowhere is one of the RPG Cosmics. That is going to be Quentin McPherson, I believe, on the 879. Down the inside and around in front of them, and all of them in the transfer zone. Blocking the track in turn number 1. Who gets through now? My goodness, Correga's involved. So was the 839 Luis Cedino, who started on the front row. Frigolay is in, and more contact continuing. Meanwhile, Remy Andratos driving a fantastic run. He will win the pre-final comfortably. We go further back to the rest of the pack here. Here comes Andratos out of the final turn on the white helmet. Bernardo Gentil in second. Sammy Martinez, Romero, third, fourth. Where's the transfer spot? You got to go all the way back to somewhere behind Sebastian Frigolay. It might be right around Christopher Wakefield. No, further back than him. Here comes Frederick Manning. That's 10th. Wakefield there. Borman's in. Frigolay is in. Who else gets in? Correga's in. Last spot to the transfer at the line. Carlo Rocchetti. Carlo Rocchetti, the final unofficial transfer into the show. Sebastian Frigolay, 20 spots gained from 33rd to 13th. A number of big movers as well. 15 gained. Just around him, I think it did the 12th spot for Bristol Borman, sorry. 15 spots gained for Bristol on the NASCAR Motorsports entry, I believe. And Remy Andratos, at least, no controversy for him. From the pole, wins that one. Bernardo Gentil played that one perfectly. Just followed Remy around. They'll start 31st and 32nd. And I'm not sure, but if it would be a 10-second penalty, which is one of the harsher ones you could get for Sammy Martinez for advancing after the commitment cone, that might have been a risk worth taking, because at 1.4 back, that put him 11.4 back, which is still well safely inside the top 14. Put him back into the low 40s, but it should still transfer Sammy Martinez on the Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports Machine into the show here for the LCQ. Let's take a look at the drivers that were just outside the bubble that might transfer in after penalties. Of course, Rocchetti unofficially in there in the 15th spot. Keith Lewis Jr., first driver on the outside looking in. Same with Jackson Elefante, Carter Barkas, Cash Felber, Jose Alejandro Halfin. And then the contact. What a heartbreak for Mateus Romalo. Just a day to forget there on the Sodi USA machine. missing out on the start of the pre-final, drove his way up into the top 15 there and ended up in 30th. So let's go down to pit lane though while they begin to go to the scale line. We've caught up with our second placeman from the KA Senior.